Welcome to another episode of the Soothing Semantics podcast. I am your host, Rafi Pinsky. As always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment, leave your comments. This is episode 208 of the Soothing Semantics podcast. Of course, real estate needs in South Florida. I'd love to help you. So check out my weekly newsletter in my link in bio on my Instagram page at Rafi the Realtor. If you to get in touch with you. On this week's episode, we have the number 3. We are here. Can you see me
Yes, I
decently
see
well?
you.
Okay.
I see you. I see you. Sorry.
As I said, internet's unstable. Okay. So we have Mansor Ashkar, who is a Druze Israeli for the 3rd episode of the podcast. We were actually planning to do a debate, not between him and I, but between an American Druze whose family is originally from Lebanon, who's been very critical of Israel in my Instagram DMs. And we were hoping to do it today, but it doesn't seem like he's available. So I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for this conversation. Hopefully, he'll see this. Mansoor is very excited to obliterate him in the in the video, and I'm stoked because I have plenty to say myself, but it has a lot more power and meaning coming from fellow Druze. And so hopefully we're going to make that happen for you guys at some point. I'm really, really looking forward to that video. I was stoked for it right now. I was so excited for the conversation. But okay. We'll have to settle with just another Rafi and Mansoor.
Literally, man. Listen, there's no way that American Druze would have dared to come and face an Israeli Druze and talk about how much he doesn't support Israel. This like literally would be the dumbest thing for him to do. I'm honestly, especially now with what's happening in Syria, with what's happening in the Middle East, that everything is coming to the light. Like everything is coming to the light. The face of radical Islam is being exposed. The face of the liberal left in the US is being exposed. And the media, everything, they're like caught with their pants down, supporting the Assad regime and jumping right in after supporting Jolani. And look what's happening now. I heard that they killed. The last report that I heard was about 7,000 Alawites and Christians. This is more than October 7, and with the same
Seven
gleam in their eyes, with the
seven
same.
thousand. I only thought it was like 1,300. Really?
That's what I thought also. I just read it now. So I don't know if that is like official. Just when I was waiting for the other Druze guy to come in, I saw a post and I was like, whoa, 7,000? That's insane. Well, either way, if it's 1,300, it's already more than October 7 for Israel. And they're doing it with the same joy and glee in their eyes, kind of streaming it to the world. How crazy is that, huh?
I'm not seeing 1,000. Wait, hold on. Oh no, I see. Well, it is the Greek City Times, UN press release. No. I'm getting different reports. That's the problem. I think we got to give
Yeah,
it
yeah,
some
like
time.
we can wait. Usually with these things, I've noticed, usually the small channels will jump right in first and throw the information. Maybe it's right,
Hmm.
maybe it's always like a miss. The big channels will probably take them a little bit more to process and to fact check. And if it's like Western media, left wing, big channels, also to fact check and make sure that it's anti Semitic and not like showing Israel good. So that adds extra time.
Hmm.
And then they will put it out there. If it makes Israel look bad, they'll just put it out straight. If it's not, they'll like try to, okay, let's write it down differently and change it. But anyway, 1,300 or more. That's more than October 7. And they're streaming it live again with joy. How crazy is that? Right? It's like, again, they
Hmm.
love streaming these things.
What do you make of this, though? It's like the Assad regime is bad, Jolani is bad. It's like one leader's ousted, you get another nut job to take its place, to take his place.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell do you do in these Middle Eastern countries? Who do you elect? That's like the Assad regime kills the rebels. The rebels uh, take over Assad. They oust Assad, and now they're killing pro-Assad members.
And
The thing
minorities,
is,
everyone. They're trying to kill everyone, not only pro-Assad.
you know what? But the thing is now that Karim is the Druze for everybody. The wondering, Karim is the Lebanese Druze who will hopefully even maybe join in the next 30 minutes, hour, who knows? If hopefully, see.
It would be great to talk. Very interesting.
Yeah, so what he would say right now if he was in this meeting is he would say, "Oh, well, Israel and America caused the ousting, caused the overthrowing of Assad," right?
And he would say that as if it's a bad thing.
Right. Well, that's what, well, he would say, "Oh, well, if Jolani is causing these killings or whatever his name is, Al something, um, Israel and the United States had a huge major part to play in that, and now this is so. What would you say? It's like, what would your response be anyway? Even if he's blaming the 1,300 killed on Jolani, who's only in power because of it was facilitated by the West, what would your response be? Just
That
playing
is
devil's
such a
advocate.
Western American college student respond. Everything blame it on the white man, blame it on the West, never blame it on the responsible party. Like literally, that's what they do
Yeah.
all the time. What people don't understand about, first of all, Assad was the biggest drug lord, bigger than Pablo Escobar, maybe. He literally kidnapped the whole country and made it its slaves for his drug industry, for him and his family, and was killing. He made mass graves of hundreds of thousands of Syrians. He killed millions in his own country from every group. So the guy was evil. The guy was like a modern day mini Hitler. So him going down should be everybody should be thanking Israel that this guy's down. Now here's where people misunderstand the Middle East. People, especially in the West, especially I guess this guy's, he's American, is probably influenced by all the woke ideology in the States. They like to think that always the oppressed are the innocent victims and the oppressor, the rich person, the government, the white, successful business owner. I don't know what, he must be bad. And then they think in the Middle East, when you have a dictator, this dictator is bad. Probably the CIA put him there, and the people are just innocent. What they don't understand is this dictator is bad, and the reason he's able to control this country because this country is more bad than him. There is a lot of bad people in Syria. We're seeing it right now. They're making it live. They're filming themselves rejoicing as they're humiliating elderly people, making them bark like dogs and walk in the street, and making their family watch them before they shoot them in the head, or taking daughters, little girls, before they take them as sex slaves, they kill their whole family in front of them and then take that girl. We're seeing that. This is happening right now. I'm talking to my Syrian friends who are also telling me how terrified they are and are actually asking me if they think it's smart and safe for them to run and flee to the south, to the Druze lands, because the Druze are under the protection of Israel, Yahud. So if you want to come and tell me right now that the Israel is the problem in the Middle East, and come on, man, like what an idiot do you need to be? Sorry for that. Second of
By
all,
the way,
here's
are you in touch? Are you in touch with any Syrian Druze?
yeah, on a daily basis, man. Not only Druze, Muslims, Christians, Alawites.
But
Today
I'm
I got a
saying,
message.
do they acknowledge is do you think Al Jolani is taking Israel's threat seriously about protecting the Jews, or he's like, whatever?
Oh yeah, he's terrified, man. He's
Hmm.
terrified. That's why he's not touching the Druze. Look what happened. The Alawites, same story. Jolani sends like Game of Thrones. He sent his own, or like Sparta versus the Persians. Like he sent his own
Right.
servants to go to the city of the Druze and the Alawites. The Druze told them, "You're not coming in," and then they started a fight. The Druze killed them, and the Druze guy I think got killed in the gunfire. They went back, and then the Muslims came and said, "Ah, Allah Akbar, we're gonna come and show them." Israel told them, "You touch them, you're done." They're like,
Mm.
"Okay, okay, okay, sorry." Went back, didn't touch them. The Alawites did the same thing. Well, the Assad supporters and Alawites went and attacked the Syrian military, killed a few of them, and now they went and they used that as an excuse and slaughtered them in the thousands. Not the fighters who fought them, slaughtered any women and children. They even made videos of kill their children before you kill their parents, so they will see you do that. Like that's what they've been writing. That's my friends in Syria showing me. Like, look at the comments. These people are worse than Hamas. They're just like Hamas. It's like Hamas came and took Syria. They didn't say worse than Hamas. It's like Hamas, they came and took Syria. So that's what people don't understand. These countries have evil people in them. And the only way a leader can control these evil people is usually because he's more evil and aggressive than they are. That's the rules of the jungle. Saddam Hussein was more evil than the people in Iraq. There were a lot of bad people in Iraq. Assad was more evil than most people in Syria, but there's a lot of evil people in Syria. Some are actually more than him even. But the reason he was able to control them, it's not because he is evil and they're good. Because he's evil and many of them are evil. That's why they elected him, or that's why they supported him. That's why they helped him. You think Assad went and dug graves for like 300,000 people to be buried in mass graves? No, it was like a whole industry. There was a whole national industry of mass graves and covering for it. So there's a lot of very bad jihadists in Syria. And now they're unchecked. So now Jawlani, either he's trying to buy more time from the West by pretending to be a nice guy with a suit and a slightly shaved beard and saying, yeah, we're not for that, we're going to stop it, because he's trying to portray himself more moderate to the West while his country is going, batshit crazy sideways, more radical. Or he's actually genuinely maybe trying to fix it, which I don't think so, by the way. But it's out of control. How can you control? These guys are more evil than the government. Why do you think when Hamas broke into Israel, think about that. They kept it so secret that they didn't even tell some Hamas members, not Hezbollah, not Iran even. They kept it so secret that the Gazans didn't know. Because they knew that if Israel catch it up, it's going to be folded. So they kept it so secret. So when they broke on October 7, by 8 o'clock already, you had thousands of Gazans who just woke up, got so excited and jumped in and went. I guess if they had more time to prepare, we would have had hundreds of thousands of Gazans coming to do what they did. They just didn't have time to get prepared. It was like so fast. So these countries, they have a lot of bad people in them. That's how you raise, it takes bad parents to raise evil kids, usually.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So now what do you think is going to be? I mean, are we going to need intervention from Trump to kind of stop what's going on in Syria? Or is it just, but do you think it's just going to become another Syrian civil war?
I think
Yeah.
there's a great opportunity here for Israel and for the allies of peace, and a very, very bad deal for the Muslims. And I'll explain. I think what's going to happen now, Israel is going to help the Druze to establish some kind of a Druze land in the south. The Druze, anyway, are the only ones standing their ground on their feet and not letting these radical Muslims come and convert them and kill them. And then you're going to have the Christians and Alawites and others running down to live under the protection of the Druze and Israel. And what's going to happen is Israel is going to start a healthy relationship with these neighbors, especially with the Druze, and it's going to replace the Muslim workers that are coming from Jordan, because many of them are peaceful and coming, but sometimes you have a bad apple quite often, sad to say, in statistics, that will come and throw a grenade or start shooting or stabbing in Israel, etc., etc. One bad apple out of, 100 or 1,000. 10,000 if you want to go. With the Druze, it's going to be zero, basically. Unless he got radicalized as a mentally ill person in Germany, which is a bizarre story. But in general, what happened is you replace now the Muslim workers with the Druze workers. The Druze start coming and working in Israel. They have relatives, they have family. The economy is going to be so good for them. It's going to be so good for Israel. Later on, you're going to start having, once everything is working peacefully, you're going to start having tourism back and forth. And the southern part of Syria is going to flourish. Why? Because it's not under Muslim Sharia law. It's going to flourish. And why? Because because they're actually with peace in Israel. There's a Bible verse that says, I will bless those who bless you, I will curse those who curse you. I really think that's one of the biggest proofs ever to the existence of God. If people want to take it, because how can you explain that? Like literally every nation that came and cursed, and I'm not a religious person, but I studied that. Every nation that cursed the Jews end up crumbling and falling and disappearing. Every nation that blessed the Jews end up just, prospering and becoming great. And it's because, you can take it spiritually, you can take it just scientifically, because there's a lot of great values there about education, about the people of the book and science and morals. But bottom line, southern part of Syria, I think, is going to become very successful. And it's going to be a very good testimony for the rest of the world to show, see what happened when they stopped wanting to kill the Jews and actually want to have peace. This place was failing, was one of the most failing places on the face of this earth. And now it's becoming one of the most successful countries for Muslims, or Arabs, let's call it, in the face of this earth, in the Middle East at least. Why? because they abandoned the idea of jihad, radical Islam, and destroying the Jews, and actually made peace with them. I think that is a very important card that Israel should play it smart and should help these allies, the Christians, the Druze, and any Muslim who is peaceful, really. It's harder with Muslims to know who's peaceful or not, but keep it checked. Don't let them become the majority because they're going to destroy the place. Don't let them rule it. If they come with peace, let them live there in peace. If not, send them to the north. Let them join their brothers and sisters there, which is going to be a jihadist Taliban Al Qaeda Wild West.
Right. I wonder, do you think Israel will ever annex southern Syria, like where the Druze are, even if the Druze want them to, or they wouldn't do that?
I think if the Druze would want that, I think Israel should do that. It's a win-win. Strategically, this land is very good for Israel to have to protect itself from another October 7. You see, because what's happening with otherwise would have happened with Israel if Israel didn't put their armies there to, hey, don't come close. These guys would run through Israel just like Hamas, they're like a bunch of barbarian rapists. And then it's going to be good for the Druze, good for the Jews. The Druze and the Jews have great relationship, great blood covenant. And most importantly, they're very similar in their views of live and let live. Like you cannot become Jews, it's very hard to become Jews. Jews are not trying to recruit. They're making it hard to come in, take it very seriously. Druze is impossible. And they're good citizens. And I think it's going to be good if they choose to do so. And if you ask me, it is their land. The land doesn't belong to Assad. Assad is like Hitler. He shouldn't get anything. He should be rotting in jail for the rest of his life, if not, worse. This land
You think
doesn't
he's still in
belong
Russia
to.
now?
What is that?
You think he's still in Russia now?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the only safe place for dictators. Russia and Turkey.
Probably. So
Russia
what
and
were you just saying? What were you saying that it's the Druze land, the southern Syria?
Yeah, and it doesn't belong to some 17 years old jihadist who was addicted to porn and want to go and kill people all around like an idiot numbskull. That land doesn't belong to him because these are the guys you're seeing walking there. That's the guys entering Europe, and that's the guys you're seeing kind of going and killing people in the streets. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to the Druze. And if the Druze come and say, Israel, take us with our land, make us yours, I think Israel should take that if they do that. But I think they're not. I think what they're going to actually do is they're going to, with the help of Israel, establish their own belt in southern Syria that is going to be.
I lost you, by the way. You said the last thing I heard you say is it doesn't belong to him.
It doesn't belong to this radical jihadist Muslim, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think the Druze should decide for themselves there. If they will come and say, Israel, take us with our land, make us yours, I think Israel should do that. That would be great for Israel and for them. And if they come and say, and I think option 2 is probably the more reasonable one, realistic one. If they come and say, with your help, Israel, let us help establish our own peaceful belt in Syria where people can live in dignity, where people don't need to fear that anyone is going to come and convert them to Islam or kill them. And it's going to be Sharia free zone. Because you see, that's what the Druze said right now, actually. There was a sheikh in the Druze community in Syria, came and said, anyone seeking shelter and refuge from the slaughter that is happening right now by the Muslims can come and seek shelter in our mountain. And if you come as our guest, we will protect you.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
I think
don't you think that's risky? Don't you think you might have some enemies who might try to like claim friendship and then backstab them, gain intelligence?
Absolutely. I
So
think
that's very scary. That's a very dangerous game to play.
it is. But I think it's not politically correct, but I don't care. If you have a Christian, or let's say Christian from the Kurds that will come, you're less likely to have him, jihadist backstab you. But if you have a Muslim, that's when the problem comes. So they need to be very careful which Muslims they allow. And the Alawis, not all of them are innocent. Many of them are actually very bad. Well, I don't know many, but quite a lot. So yeah, I think that statement came for the Christian and the Kurdish minorities who've been persecuted and having their daughters been kidnapped, and then also for the Alawites because what's happening right now. So you can kind of differentiate quite fast with the accent, with a few questions, finding his relatives, if which family he's coming from and where, but still 100%. If it comes to Islam going there, easily, Taqiyya.
Well, I guess we'll see what unfolds. I mean, how far away how far away are these Jolani guys from the Druze neighborhood? What the Druze village is called Latakia? What's the name of it?
I forgot. I
No,
don't know
no,
the name Latakia.
no, that's something
You have
Lakia.
maybe you Google it and find it. I don't remember the name. I don't want to butcher it. You have El Sueda, which is the main Druze city, the biggest
Mm-hmm.
one. And then you have the Druze communities and the villages by the northern border of Israel. And then you have small Druze village just under Damascus, like in the center. And that's the one that is in the greatest danger because Sueda can defend themselves relatively well. And the Druze next to Israel can also defend themselves, but also Israel is there to kick their ass if anyone is coming to try to hurt them. It's the ones that are close to the Muslims. That's the one that are in danger.
Uh, it says J Jabal al-Druze. Most live in
That's the
Jabal
mountain
al-Druze.
Druze.
Right.
But that's not the one by the Damascus.
Yeah,
That's not.
Suwaida.
Mm-hmm.
Al-Suwaida?
Al Suwaida is the big Druze city in Syria.
Yeah, I see, I see. The one thing that was also very confusing is I saw a video online of a Druze saying that they don't want Israel's protection. Like I'm seeing a lot of like anti-Israel rhetoric about that. It seems like are some Druze afraid of going against Jolani, maybe? Is that what it is? Or do they just not know about Israel and maybe because there must be some Druze in Syria that aren't necessarily pro-Israel. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
They grew up in Syria.
absolutely. Absolutely. Imagine that you are now some religious group that grew up in Nazi Germany. And during when they were hating and doing propaganda against the Jews and wanting to exterminate the Jews, there's very likely.
By the way, look who I found at the top of the search. Right there, baby.
Oh, that's the interview. I had
Is
it.
Israel the unexpected guardian of Syria's Druze? Jerusalem Center for Security and Foreign Affairs. It's got almost 10,000 views in less than a day.
Really? I didn't know it even went up. That's
You
cool.
didn't even know it was up yet? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't. Funny story, because when I was recording at my friend's place, and he owns a bar in Elat called Bardak. It's a cool bar, and he had this bulletin board behind the wall that had all kind of stuff about the bar, and there was a picture there of a plate that had like stuff on it, and I didn't
Hmm.
know what it is. But later on, after the video was done, it was a plate full of penises, and it's like Wiener's plate. I don't know what. And I was like, oh my God, that was behind me all the time. So luckily they cut it out and it's not there. I was, came to my friend, what the heck are you putting in there? So come on, man, we run a bar. You have the staff here. They make jokes all the time.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Sorry, what was your question though?
No, just about like you were explaining how there are some Syrian Druze
Yeah.
that aren't pro-Israel.
So I was saying, like, just like, in Nazi Germany, you will have a lot of citizens that probably had very bad views about the Jews because that's what they heard all the time. So in Syria, they've been hearing all the time that Israel is evil, the Druze in Israel are suffering, the Jews are evil. But luckily, most of them had relatives in Israel, so they, would call us. And I had these
Hmm.
conversations many times, especially from the young ones, because they question life. And they come and tell me, like, is it really safe for you, like, to go in Israel and publicly identify as a Druze? So are you kidding me? My mom is like the most famous Druze woman in a Jewish town. She's walking with the kafia, with the futa, we call it, over her head, it's the head cover. Freely, every taxi is stopping and just giving her a free ride. People just, I said, no, we're very safe. And then they're shocked. When I made this video with my mom randomly talking to a taxi driver, I had so many messages from people in Syria just telling me, I wish I was living in Israel, man. I wish, you know. So, with that said, you always have people that don't believe, think it's a propaganda. I don't know what. Like that Syrian kid, he was mentally ill, but still he got radicalized in Germany. So he probably lived among pro-Palestine people and was fed with their lies. You have Christians who fall for these lies. You have Jews who fall for these lies. So you obviously definitely have Druze in Syria that, fear Israel, don't trust Israel, or even have bad thoughts. But it's very unlikely to have them coming in a jihadist way or a terrorist attack, because that's not a Druze thing. That's a Muslim thing. Like, the Druze, they don't do that to the Muslims. They don't do that to anyone. Kind of, they will defend
Mhm.
themselves usually. So if mentally ill guy goes, that's a different story. But even if, I think Israel should not, if that comes anytime, angst them, just say, hey, come, welcome, faddal. You should do steps by steps and figure out who is who, what is what, and etc. And even with working permits, you should make sure that actually the Druze can control their border well, and then make sure that there's a filter with the Druze community there where they can actually filter who is fitted work-wise, mentally, etc. And then these ones can come to Israel and work in Israel and get a very great money and go there and support their families. I think that's good. That'd be
Makes
cool.
sense.
That'd be cool, man.
I'd say maybe just replace the Gazans with the Syrian Druze, and that's it.
Oh yeah, you solve the problem of the Palestinian immediately in a second. You just took a bunch of radical, semi modern Nazi mentality, send them somewhere else where they can fit with someone that believes like them, like Syria. They'll fit right in with these jihadis. They like to live stream themselves murdering innocent people. They will fit right in. Give
Hmm.
baklawas, knafis, and then you have the Druze there by the beach. Great, great food. It's gonna make Gaza really good. You know. Funny thought about this.
You're like, wait a minute, Mansoor. You're like, that's we haven't thought of that yet. We haven't considered this.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great idea, man. No, I did think about it. I did think about it several times, but I've
The
never
only thing
spoke
is, they
about it
might
like.
miss the mountains. The Druze would probably miss the mountains, though.
Oh yeah, they will suffer in the desert for a while. They will suffer in the desert. But they'll figure it out. You know. But yeah, no, it's very hard to get the Druze to leave their lands, man. It's very hard.
First of all, also, you don't have to make it where there's only Druze in Gaza. See, like if Trump's plan actually worked, you could just have a bunch of Jews, Druze, whoever, and then if the Druze prefer to live up north in the mountains, they can go live with their family and like you guys.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what. You're touching a very important part here. When do Muslims start misbehaving and going crazy? If they're in power, if they are becoming a majority in your society, or if they believe that they're living in a weak society, for example, Europe. So then, even if you have 1,000 Muslims, you still have terrorists. Even if the country have 80 million Germans, because they
Hmm.
don't take them seriously. They see them as weak. Now, if you look at Druze villages, for example, the Muslim people behave very well there. Because they know if they cross the line, the Druze have a different language to speak. They speak the language of the Arab men. They won't let it happen. Crazy story. I don't know if you want to hear. I think I've never really shared it because it's shocking. It's a shocking story. On the 6 Day War or the Kippur War, I don't remember exactly the details. My mother and my grandmother told me that story. In the village of Mghal, all the men went for the war to stand side by side with their Jewish brothers and sisters and fight to defend Israel. Now, both wars in the beginning, it looked like Israel is going to completely lose. I mean, think about it. Like all Arab nations are coming to this, especially Kippur War. So what happened is, after several nights, the Muslims in that village started walking in the neighborhood. Not all, but quite a lot of them, and started dividing the Druze families among themselves. Ahmed, you take this house of Mahasan. His daughters are there. You can take the daughters, kill the boys, take the mother, do whatever you want. I will take the house of Amjad right here, etc., 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 of Munir. And they were dividing how they're going to take the women of the Druze men because, that's it. Israel is done. They're lost. That's what they thought from the river to the sea. And my grandmother, with my mom, because she was the oldest daughter in the house, the second oldest, they were in the hallway by the door with these shotgun that have these two bullets, click, clicky put, and she gave my mom one, daughter, and they were both standing, aiming it at the door. And then they heard these Arab Muslim men walking by the door, and my grandmother said, anyone who comes through this door is going to have a hole through his chest. And they got okay, okay, okay. They went back, but they were still laughing. They were laughing. Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back. Imagine how terrifying that is. A woman, she had, my mother had, there were a family of 12, but by then I don't remember how many there were, maybe like five, six, seven, including babies in the house. And you have these Muslim men walking outside talking how they were going to take and kill all the men is going to be dead in the war, or kill them and then take the daughters. Now, Israel won the war. The Druze men went back to their village. What do you think happened? The problem was solved. Never again. Never again. They
Yeah.
don't dare. They don't try. They became very peaceful. They've learned. Don't mess with the Druze. They take these things very seriously. Come from our daughters. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think, if we're just running hypothetically, if Gaza, let's say, was governed by Druze, you'll have very peaceful Muslim living there, because an unpeaceful one will find himself out very fast. No tolerance. It's not like the Jews or the Christians, they overthink too much, and they try to make the other side look like a victim sometimes, or believe its lies. I think they won't fall for that. So, but that's
Yeah,
just
I agree with you.
I don't think it's going to happen, but let's see.
I agree with you. So, okay, so Jolani, now I really wonder what's going to unfold in Syria. Tough to say. What I'm also curious to know now is what's going to happen with Gaza. Recent Trump's been cracking down on all these college students. There's that guy in Columbia University.
Yeah, good thing he threw him out.
Supposedly, he's definitely arrested. I mean, I don't know what his deal is now.
Oh, sorry for my burp. I just made a video of how to spot the top five tips of how to spot if you're a useful idiot. Just made a video about it. And well, I'm gonna have to edit and upload it. And one of the points there is if you're a college student in the U.S. and support Palestine, you're a useful idiot. Like, that's it by definition. And
Mhm.
also, if you come and look at these people nowadays and see who was fuming his mouth and just tweeting right, left, and center about Palestine, poor Palestinian, Israel evil, and he's just silent about it. So Syria, useful idiot by definition. And I was thinking, like, if someone would make an app who can find the algorithm and see who was active about pro-Palestine stuff and not active about Syria, immediately like banner useful idiot. And I think Western government, if someone will make that, should use that and realize, okay, that's the people we don't want in our country, like 100%. Because if they support Palestine and hate Israel, most likely they're either evil or useful idiots. And if they're in the useful idiots group, even, it means that they are supporting radical jihadist Nazi-like mentality and they hate the West. And if that's your citizens, you have to deal with it educationally wise. You have to see what went wrong. But if they're not your citizens, don't have them in your country. Are you crazy? These are people that will rejoice and give baklawas at the fall of your country. They rejoiced in 9/11 and gave baklawas, 100%. I'm pretty sure that
Mhm.
many of them are right now rejoicing seeing what's happening in Syria. Some of them are probably thinking like, I wish I was there to live stream. They get accelerated? How do you call this? Exhilarated. They get
Yeah, they
exhilarated
connect
about
with him.
joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have these people in the West. You have them in America, 100%. They were coming with 100% attendance in the pro-Palestine demonstrations. I'm not saying all of them were, but they were there. So if you spot these people, you should definitely kick them out of your country. That's very, very bad people.
Yeah, Trump's actually doing that.
Yeah, good
Trump's
on him.
actually doing that. So now with that happening, I mean, we spoke about it in the last episode, I think. Well, no, well, when we spoke last time, I don't know if this whole idea that Trump had was even a discussion, was it? I can't
No,
remember.
it wasn't. It wasn't. We woke up one morning and we saw that it is. It wasn't. We were talking about Navy SEALs, right? It's los in Jiu-Jitsu.
Right. Well, that was on your show. Yeah. Because the one
Oh,
we
yeah,
did
that
on
was
my
on.
show. Yeah,
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 on
yeah.
your
And by
show,
the
I
way,
don't think we spoke about that.
so also to the listeners, make sure to go and check out Mansour's YouTube channel. First of all, it's an amazing channel. But also we recorded a video maybe what was it, a month ago?
Something like that. Yeah, a month and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the two of us, as well as a former Israeli Navy SEAL, Lior Ophir, a good friend of mine, he was also on the video on the episode. Amazing video. Definitely check it out, guys. So being that we didn't being that we didn't discuss the whole plan of pretty much telling having the Gazans find another home for the time for the time being, for the time being. How in the world do you even execute that? That's what I don't understand. How do you even go through with that? I mean, I have my ideas, but um, who's I don't know. I don't like how does that even where does it even do you think maybe it's even starting to happen and the news isn't really covering it so much? Maybe Gazans are kind of like slowly trickling into other countries.
Well, Israel did shut the grid over Gaza
Is it still
yesterday.
shut?
I don't know if it's still shut. I tell you what, there is sometimes in life situations where there's no more easy solution. And there's no more easy solution because bad management, bad strategy, or just being fooled and tricked by very bad people led you to a very bad place. And for example, Europe. If Europe doesn't kick out the Muslim immigration out of Europe completely, um, Europe will cease to be Europe. It'll become a caliphate. So they need to choose. Are we going to succumb to that and become the next Iran, the next Syria? There's no other way. Or because the jihadists, the radical ones, went there also. Or are we going to do what is right and like realize the Muslim invasion and treat it that way and just, okay, guys, go out. So the solution now is very tough. The solution was not tough 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, until Merkel
Mhm.
came and said, come in, Fadal ya Habibi, come. Then it was an easy solution. Just don't let them in. Look what's happening. You know, they're killing their own people. They're marrying young girls. They're throwing gay people out of rooftops. That's the people that came to Europe. What do you think? Like I said, these people exist in numbers in these countries. With Gaza, you know, if Gaza will cease to be in the hands of the Muslim Gazans, it'll be the greatest thing for Gaza. It would literally will make Gaza a very good place, even for the locals that will come back there later on if they're peaceful. Because right now it's run by a terrorist group that made the whole country a terrorist country. 60, 70% of the people that support terrorism, that's very concerning from the age of 3. You know, so how
Mhm.
do you call that? That's like a factory for raising terrorists, for raising jihadists. So now the solution is very hard. Now the solution, unless willingly many of them will choose to go. Do you want to hear like how I see it's happening? It might be hard for the
Oh,
ear.
say it exactly how it is. I just want. Oh, I've listen, man. I have a in my mind. We're probably thinking the exact same thing. I just want to. I just want. The Druze take. I want to hear your take as a person, but of course,
Yeah,
like
I think my take, and I would love to hear yours after,
mhm,
is they come and they make it clear. They put a whole armada of bulldozers and buggers and everything ready. They put right in front of them lots of tanks with airplanes flying in the air, sending a message. Okay, guys, in 1 month, we're starting flattening everything. We're going to build something new here. Get out. And then they will open corridors to help them get out with coordination with other countries to accept them and give them a better life. There will be money sent there to help them build a life for themselves. Whoever want a temporary, who want permanently, up to you. But get them as further possible from Israel so they don't have stupid ideas. And then, after when the time comes, they go step by step. They take control of one area of Gaza. Anyone tries to fight them, they literally obliterate him. It's a war zone. He chose to stay
mhm.
there. Damcha beroshcha, like they say in Hebrew. That's it. It's a war zone. They come, flatten that whole area, crush all the tunnels, dig in, build, next, next, next. And the resistance will be crushed very fast. And I'm telling you, when you use a lot of force and you stop, showing humanitarian woke ideology, radical Muslims they crumble very fast. They run. They run.
Mhm.
They don't stay. They stay only when they know they can fool you. So I think if they do that, start taking it serious, in 1 or 2 weeks, you'll have Gaza empty. You'll only have Hamasnikim staying there or radical jihadists, which you'll be doing the world a favor if you
Right.
get rid of
Yep. You have to be. We're gonna have to do what you're suggesting, 100%.
them.
If countries are willing to accept small pockets, meaning let's say 15 countries are willing to accept several thousand each, and Egypt lets them through, or we let them through in different ways they can travel out, even flights out, even some kind of way where we let flights out,
Yeah.
which could be a total nightmare. But then again,
Who would want to be the pilot on that airplane full of
I know
Gaza?
that's what I'm saying.
I was like, come on, man. Who would want to be the pilot?
Oh my God, could you imagine? Oh my God.
No one. No one sane in his mind would want to fly
Okay,
that.
so not planes, then boats, whatever. But yeah, I mean, they go through Egypt and they travel wherever they got to go. Egypt lets them through and they travel wherever they got to go.
The
And
problem
it tr
is, yeah, sorry,
Mhm.
continue.
Yeah, no, they have to travel through Egypt and go somewhere else. And if they're worried that they're not going to be able to come back, they're probably not going to be able to come back. They're not going to be able to. This is what it is. You made a decision. Now you have to sleep in the bed you know
You
you
made.
made your bed. Now you got to sleep in it, so to speak. So I mean, this is what it is.
Yeah. First of all, one of the problems is honestly, no one wants the Gazans. No one wants them for a reason.
Yeah.
They know how radicalized they are. No one wants them. Another reason Muslim countries don't want to do that because they don't want to lose Muslim land that is under Sharia law. For them, they don't like the Gazans, but they hate the idea more that Christians or Jews will control this land because this land should be Muslim. And the whole goal of Islam is to
That is
expand,
the
not
biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. I was
not give
speaking to
away land.
somebody.
That is the biggest deception that the West is falling for. It's much bigger than the hate toward Israel, Sunni, and Shia. They want planet Earth, and every piece of land that's under Sharia is great. Islam is expanding. Back, terrible, terrible. We must have done something very good. Like God will not forgive us. So
Mm.
that's one big challenge in that story because I don't think anyone would want them. It's going to be very hard. But with the right leverage, America can actually make it happen, I think, and they should start playing that card, with the world because it's the right thing to do.
So
I
how does
honestly think
America do that? America has to, I guess, they're going to have to do it by force. They're going to have to create a scenario where, okay, we're going to
no. America should
cut
start.
funding to your country. We might put,
America should start playing poker with the aim of winning, not with the aim of being a humanitarian poker table game. You're sitting in a poker table game, and you have your cards. American talking the West also, you look, and then you have the other side, and they're playing their card to win. They want to destroy you. They want to take everything that belongs to you. And you can either play to win or to finish the game and go with your money. Hey, don't touch my money. That's it. I took what I took. It's mine. Leave me alone. So America right now should start understanding that if they come and tell a country like Jordan, like Egypt, guys, Palestinians, they're yours. Take them back. No, we don't. Okay, you don't. Why don't you want to do it? Because this is literally gonna solve the problem of the Middle East. This is gonna make peace in that area. They're gonna stop killing Jews. They're gonna stop dying and being used as human fodder for radical jihadists. Why don't you want to do that? All right, you don't want to do that. No more American aid. That's it. You're not our ally anymore. We know. We can see through you. You're actually using us to promote your radical Muslim agenda. We're not gonna play with that. If you want to be a partner for peace, show it. So I think America should just call things out as they are. Here's the thing: what people don't understand. Did you know that Disney? I think that was the thing. I think Disney existed at the same time that the Ottoman Empire still existed.
Mhm.
Ottoman Empire was the last empire of Islam. It actually never ceased to exist. So Islam as an empire never ceased to exist. It just got corrupt, fell down to small pieces, and became small countries. Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Libya, this, Morocco, it just became small. It never happened before. Islam never had different countries. It was one caliphate. So they never really abandoned the dream of conquering planet Earth. They just got overwhelmed by how successful the West was, and they saw a lot of respect towards the West, and that was like the quiet age where they were like actually looking up to the West, dressing like them a little bit, adapting smoking cigarettes suddenly, adapting the Marlboro Man image, or I don't know what. Later on, they started seeing how the West is being perceived as weak because West have abandoned masculinity and have abandoned the idea of showing success through being strong and standing on your values, which you can call it communist, kind of infiltrating, trying to destroy the West from inside. And then Islam stopped respecting the West, and then it became less. So that's why you had like 20, 30 years where it was actually pretty safe to travel in these areas as Westerners because they were literally in awe of the West. There is videos that shows Europeans coming and meeting with sheikhs in Saudi Arabia and in Egypt, and they're all sitting like on chairs that the Europeans have brought, and they like put their camels behind, and then they put a TV and they show them for the first time television, and they're like shocked because there's a little human inside, you know. So imagine for them, like this alien invasion just came with a much more superior Western society that have airplanes in the air that reached the moon, and came back. So for them, like I'm just sitting on a camel with an argila, with a hubbly bubbly. So that overwhelming success have actually humbled Islam also. I'm like, whoa, 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 okay, they got something we don't. We need to learn from them. There was a lot of respect, and then later on, you know, the West became woke and stupid, and then they lost respect and they became violent again. But they were violent before. So that was like the only time they were maybe not so violent. Islam was violent through all history, before and after, with the small chapters where they were humbled and kind of put in their place and realized it's not going to be good for them. So Islam never abandoned the idea to conquer the world. And if America doesn't understand that and start playing their cards right, they're never going to have peace. And if they will start playing, then you'll have Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, like the Emirates, that are actually giving me hope, because they're trying to adapt into the future and bring their country that's going to be, you know, acquitted and fitted to work as an application on an Android or an Apple. You know, like, okay, that app can work with our system because it's a Western app. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You have an antivirus, it's not going to work. Have a virus in it, it's not going to work. So I think that's, you know, what America should do. And if they play that card, then Arab countries will, if they show strength and seriousness, financially, military, they're like, okay, we do it. Trust me. Pretty sure it's going to happen if they play that card.
Yeah, I wonder what'll be in the next 6 months, in the next year.
Not crazy, man.
Because what I could
What's going to
tell
be in the
you is,
next 2
man,
weeks?
you say again?
What's going to happen in the next 2 weeks?
I know, my God, it's so crazy, man. I just if you if I'll tell you now though, it would how long do you think it would take for the Jews, in cooperation with everybody else in Israel, any other non-Jewish Israelis, to turn Gaza into like an incredible piece of land? Like, how long do you think it would take? It wouldn't necessarily be completely built, but how many years do you think it would take before Gaza started looking really, really nice?
If you got rid of all Hamas and all the jihadists from Gaza, and you have only the cooperative one and the peaceful one, actually, that want to stay there and help build a great country for themselves and for everyone. I mean, look at China. They built a hospital in a few days. If they put the right money, the right engineering, I'm talking half a year to a year, you're going to have a beautiful place, because Gaza is a beautiful piece of land. I've been there many times, you know, so I was there. They have beautiful beaches, excellent weather. They're close to Tel Aviv. They're close to Beersheba. They're close to Eilat. They're close to Jerusalem, you know, so it's very easy to have like good connections with them. They have beach. They have a port.
Yeah.
Very fast. Very fast. They can be like, they can work on it from every direction, from the ocean, from the land. They can bring a lot of supplies, Jewish innovation. They can literally build like the next Tel Aviv there in no time.
It would be so nice, man. It would be so nice.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see what happens, man. But
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I honestly hope it happens. I think that would be the great thing. You know, I don't care if the bad guys cry, I don't care. If the good guys cry, I care.
right.
I think the good guys will benefit from this, including the Palestinians. The good ones, they will benefit. You see Gazans right now that are begging, please do that. I've seen videos of Gazans saying, please, Trump, do it. We're so sick and tired, yeah, of Islam doing this to us, of radical Muslims doing this to us.
Okay. It was wild what he posted on his Instagram. Did you saw that video?
Who
There's
posted
no
what?
way you didn't see it. The video that Trump posted about Trump Gaza.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a joke. I didn't watch it in the beginning because that's
Didn't
just spam.
believe it. I couldn't believe it, man. It was crazy.
Honestly, I watched it only a week after. I'm not joking. I thought that's spam. This is one of the stupid things. I'm not gonna waste my time on it. And then I saw it being shared so much. They said like, "Are everybody stupid? Like, how are they sharing this? It can't be." And then I went. I was like, "He really posted that AI generated video?" Man, every time I think he can surprise me, he does.
You
That
know,
was crazy.
on the beach with him and BB, I was like, I can't
Yeah,
believe it.
that was too crazy, man. That was just the guy's the goat.
He doesn't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, man, he just doesn't. And you see, actually, you know what I've been noticing? I've been noticing that it seems to me that he is, in some ways, acting impulsively, but in some ways also acting impulsively from his heart and with the knowledge that he have. Look what happened every time that he meets with a hostage and he hears a story. Now imagine, we all heard the stories through the internet, but imagine you're sitting in the room with that girl
Hmm.
and you're asking her questions, and maybe she's sharing with you things that she's not comfortable sharing in front of the TV. All kind of things that many of us think about but don't dare to say it out loud. Imagine how shocked you will be, the empathy, unless you're just, radical Muslim, but, the empathy you will have towards a human. You'll come out like, shaken. And then Trump's, every time he meets with these hostages, he comes out with like the craziest idea. If they're not out by tomorrow, Israel, wipe them out. I don't care. Do whatever you want. And he's impulsive, but he's acting, I think, from a very human kind of place. However, and I would like to hear your opinion about that, I think that Trump is making Bibi look bad. I think for Bibi, Biden was more convenient. And I'll tell you why. Because I think for Bibi, he always had the excuse, yeah, I would have went there and just finished the job, but Biden, is not supporting us. And now Trump is coming saying, go do it, Bibi. Until 12 o'clock tomorrow, if you don't let them out, Israel, do whatever you want. And I think Bibi's like, I don't know if I should do it. Because he didn't. Why didn't he? Why isn't he? You have green light from America. None limited. We'll give you all the weapons that you need to wipe Hamas out.
Right.
Do it. And I think, that's my opinion. I think that right now, if Bibi doesn't take that and do it, I'm going to be very disappointed. So I think he's making him look bad because I think that Bibi doesn't want to do it. Otherwise, why didn't he? What do you think?
Why wouldn't he though?
Well, why wouldn't he have done it in the last 16 years?
I don't think it's as simple as he's a PU, you know what? I don't think that's it's too shallow of an answer. Like, because he's done many things that take balls.
Yes, he did, but very calculated, politically calculated. This
Yeah,
one,
you know what? I
This
think
one
we
is
need
not
to.
politically. This one could be a political suicide, but I think a leader that cares about Israel should be able to come and say, "I'm jumping on this one."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm not a military strategist. It might not necessarily. I think also the Gazans have to be in such a hard position. It's just like if we're giving them all of this assistance and aid, we're just making it easier and easier for this to go on and on and on and on and on. Like, Israel has to go in right now and absolutely control control it. They should have never left. They have to control it completely. Um, and I think they also need to start sending Gazans somewhere else. Like they really need to start sending Gazans somewhere else. The challenge, though, is what if they take the hostages to some other country? That's a scary thought. They could have, that was always a worry.
Yeah, but that doesn't change the fact
What
that
I would
Israel.
also say, though, what I would say is what Trump should say is if any of these hostages are brought into another country, then such and such and such, like we're going to cut funding or whatever. Like that country is, even whether that country knows it's happening or not, if we find out that there are Israeli hostages in Egypt and Jordan and Morocco and Lebanon, wherever, anywhere in the Middle East, anywhere in the world, if we find out that they're in someone else's country, that country is going to deal with some very serious consequences. And so this way, these countries know, okay, we better make sure to do everything in our power not to allow Hamas to send these hostages somewhere else. That's a
Oh
very
yeah,
important thing. That's something
well,
very important that Trump. I really hope that somehow somebody that has a connection with Trump hears what I just said because that's very important. Um, but I think the Gazans got to start moving out. So there needs to be serious consequences because this is going on too long. It's been prolonged. This should have been over in a few weeks, max. This is a year and a half already. It's not. It's not. It's unacceptable.
and now we have the greenest light we ever had to finish the job. Just go and do it.
Right.
And now our leaders need to show that that they're walking the talk. America never supported Israel so boldly, so strongly like under Trump. Everything you guys need, just do it. And I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna give them ultimatum that most likely they will not stand in. So I'm gonna give you the green light till tomorrow, 12 o'clock. All hell's goes loose. Hell's gate's gonna open in Gaza. He said that. Israel is capable of opening Hell's Gate on Gaza. Have every reason to do it. They came and they murdered our children, kidnapped our kids and our women. Every reason to do it. They're still holding them. They strangled our babies, the Bibas. They strangled them to death. Who knows? Probably in front of their mom and then killed her. Terrible what they did. So Israel have every reason with the backing of America to do it. And now is the real test for the Israeli government. Are they gonna go and finish the job so our children can have peace in the future, or are they gonna back down, walk around, and give them another excuse, and later on we're gonna deal with it again in the future? Mark my words. This is a testing moment. They need to do it. And if a political leader of Israel needs to sacrifice his career for that, let it be. That's a worthy thing to sacrifice your career, to fade into the horizon, being remembered as the one who actually brought peace for this region and got rid of these radical jihadists in Gaza. There's no other way of calling them. So I think, Bibi, if you're listening to this, or anyone in the government, come on, show us. Do it. Do the right thing. Do it.
Yeah, of course, pro-Palestinians are going to say that Bibi wants to further the war. He wants to stay in power. This is what the rhetoric that obviously they're going to say.
Come on, that's the dumbest thing to say in the world. I mean, Israel is fighting a war against genocidal uh, maniacs that want to eliminate us, and Bibi is leading this country, and he is fighting a war to defend Israel and bring the hostages. No one can take that away. That's all like conspiracy theory nonsense. However, how is he doing? Is he doing it the best way he could, or he's not? That's very questionable. Because I think he's definitely not doing it the best way he could. Definitely not. We're way too long in this mud. We should have been in this mud from the beginning with, and he was a prime minister there. So, there's no excuses. In Israel, we're not idolizing a leader just because he is. We're not like the left, Democrats in America, oh, they can't be wrong because we support them. They like to idolize. I don't like that. As an Israeli, I think every leader, when you choose to become a leader, you have a responsibility and you better rise up for that. If not, take your keys, go home.
Right.
And they have a great chance now. Great chance. I really hope they do that.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. It's
Yeah.
frustrating. It's frustrating. I'm just gonna keep staying in touch with everyone who's there, and we'll see. I guess we'll see. That's all I can say.
You know what? They did hold for about 400,000 reservists, men of war, ready to go to war. They did get a lot of shipments. There's American airplanes flying over the area, bombers, I've heard. I think something is boiling. And I think, there's like this saying, a father talking to his kid and telling him, like, always avoid fighting, always avoid violence. But if it starts, make sure you finish it. Seen like this picture of like a little kid with his father is teaching him. And yeah, I mean, we want peace. Our hands is for peace. But if war comes and war is, and these guys want war, what are you doing? Finish it. Don't talk to them. Finish it.
100%. 100%. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap it up here, Mansoor. I hope that's good. If there's anything else you wanted to mention, this is your chance, or forever hold your peace.
Well, I'm actually starting now a series of episodes where I came to Israel now, and I know I spoke to my Patreon friends that helped me fly to Israel actually, and I interviewed probably more than 10 people. Most of them are fascinating former Israeli special forces and intelligence, and I had them share their stories from the battle, from October 7th, from before, from after, crazy inspiring stories, and I'm going to be putting it in my YouTube because I believe that this is a great way of also sharing intelligent, beautiful stories and showing real good role models that our children should want to be like.
Hmm.
Our children should want to be like strong, ethical men and women, not the other way around. And I'm sharing these stories. So I think there's a few interesting days coming for my channel. So anyone who's coming there, there's going to be, once I'm back from Israel, I'm going to take now 2 weeks to be with my kid here and enjoy, father and son time. We haven't been here for more than a year and a half. So I want him to enjoy. So I'm going to spend this time. So there might be like a decrease, but that's about that. That's the channel and the things that I'm going to be doing. So anyone who wants, more than welcome. But thanks for having me, man. I always love talking to you. And
Likewise.
that conversation that me and you had with Leo that you organized, that was fire, man. That was very impressive, man, that you brought there. You have good friends.
Thank God. I really do. Yeah, Lior's something else, man. He really is. And you ain't too bad yourself, okay?
Yeah.
So I hope, ladies and gents, thank you for making it this far to the end of the episode. Of course, make sure to follow both of us on our YouTube channels, okay? Mansoor on YouTube is with an O or an A?
It's an embarrassing question, but I'm not sure. Let me check.
Oh no, I'm sorry, a U. It's no Mansoor. It's either with a U or an O. The S is SOR SUR. I forget.
Yeah, let's find out. No, thanks. Here we go. Here we
It's with
go.
an O.
It's
Oh
no,
no,
it's
wait,
with a U.
with a U. It's with a U.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, Mansor Ashkar. I'm gonna add the link in the description. Make sure you follow his channel, guys, and you'll see this episode that he's talking about with Lior. It is um what I was saying is I just lost my train of thought for a second. We really wanted to have the debate that I mentioned. And so I know you guys aren't really in the loop with that. You're maybe not even sure what I'm talking about, but this anyway, Lebanese American Druze guy will hopefully be on the show. We're gonna hopefully put a debate together. I'm gonna be more of the moderator. I know I'm gonna chime in. I know myself. I'm definitely gonna have my moments where I get rowdy and I have to just, stop either side and just kind of go at it. I'm clearly on Team Mansour here. It's very obvious, but I'm gonna do my best to moderate. Like, subscribe.
Well, it's a good time to have the video get stuck. Let's take a picture. Oh, here you are.
Yeah, I lost you. What were you just saying? You were saying
I was looking at your
uh,
frozen image and I said that's a good time to have the video get stuck.
yeah. No, I was just saying, did you have any other finishing point before we
No,
end?
just that I would love to actually meet or talk to this young man that you're talking about, and I would love to hear what he have to say. As bizarre as it is for me that the Druze will hold these views, I would love to actually hear it and see if he have a good intellectual argument behind it. I doubt it, to be honest, but I would
He's
love
not
to
a
hear.
stupid guy. He's definitely not a stupid guy.
Good.
He just basically believes that Israel has a goal of greater Israel and that we want to take over Arab lands and that um
Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard this before.
yeah. So that's pretty much what it is. Like he just sees Israel as a group that's causing the violence in the Middle East essentially. And he claims he doesn't have an issue with Israel existing. He can kind of understand it, but he believes that the Zionists, not the Jews, he differentiates. Zionists are using Jews and using Israelis as pawns. They're the elites of the country. The Zionists are these, rich white Jews at the top, and everyone else is just
Yeah, the
fighting
round table
battles
of
for
the
them.
Zionists, the
What'd you s-
elders of Zion, the
Yeah,
elders
the
of
elders of Zion and the round table, the Zion round table and all that stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I would love, man. Honestly, if you can catch him up, I will always be ready to jump on your channel. I love your channel, man. So I'll be more than happy and
Thank you.
honored to be here.
Thank you. Fantastic. You the bomb. You the man. I will talk to you guys. I will talk to you soon, Mansoor. Ladies and gents, again, thank you for joining. It has been a pleasure as always, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.